Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Code with Shaz. I welcome you to another exciting video. Today we're going to take a look how to use Debugger in Visual Studio Code. So I have this application which is a web API ASP.NET 9 application. The application does a very basic thing. Let me show you on the database. This is a log application which basically records all the logs that is emitted by invoice application. You can see here we have the server name, database name, the vendor name, call a provider name. So basically what it does is that for each vendor, which database was used to load the invoice, and what was the server name, what was the loaded total, and what was the total from the files, and when the load was done, and who the load was done by. So basically it's a very simple log that we need to use from the another application, and we're going to be using web API around it. So I'm going to be showing you how a simple endpoint where we'll get all the logs from this table, and how to get a specific log ID. So let me go back to the application. You can see here we have the application is called log viewer API, and we have a bunch of endpoints here, and I have set up a repository. The code is not meant for this video. I just want to show you the debugger. So let's go to the endpoint that we're interested in. Let's take a look at this get all logs endpoint. So basically what this endpoint does, it goes to the database and gets all the logs for us. And if the logs are not found, it will throw a not found 404 and response for us. And if the logs are found, it basically goes to the 200 OK response, and it will emit all the logs for us. So let me test this. Let me first start the application. So I'm going to go to, let me do pwd and see. So we are in the right folder, log viewer API. Let me clear this and say .NET watch. Let's run our application. So this will run the run our project. Let me go back to the Postman. I have set up this endpoint so that we can call it. So let me go back to the Postman, and you can see here I have already set up my so the URL is the one that we supposed to get. So let's see if we go back to the so it's running now, and you can see that running 5044 port. Let me go back to Postman, and then you see it's running on the 5044, and this is our API endpoint. So let me do the send, and then we'll get the result back. So you see we get the result back from the API. Our endpoint is working, and we get all the logs back. Now let's say if I want to debug this and set a breakpoint here to see what kind of result I get back. So the way to do it, first I will need to set up a breakpoint here, but then the first step would be to set up our launch.setting file, set up our debugger. So first I'm going to create a launch setting JSON file. So click on this and choose the one C# because I'm using C#. And then here you have a bunch of options. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using attached to .NET. I'm going to be using attached to .NET process, this one here. The mouse doesn't work, so you have to use your up down arrow keys to use this. So once you use it, will say .NET Core attach. And now next thing we need to do, we need to come to add configuration, and here you need to attach this. You have to use .NET Launch C# project. So you come here, go at the top, same thing, use your up and down arrow keys and get this Launch C# project. You click on this, and now it will ask you for your project name. So my project name is called Log Viewer API. So I'm going to be using that one. So let's see here. So I'm using Copilot, so it's automatically detected from me. So Log Viewer API. And the next thing we need to set up is project path. And we need to select this relative path to project, and we need to set up. And then my Copilot pick it up. So it will be Log Viewer API, Log Viewer API. So basically that's my project path where the debugger is going to be calling our project from. And then we have the, this is the name. So this launch.json, if you go back to the folder, you can see that it is created under .vs code folder. So if you go to the application, Logger API, you can see that it's under VS Code. This is where the JSON launch setting will be, file will be residing. So everything is set up now. So let me go back to the debugger, and we had already set up a breakpoint at this controller, and we have set up onto this. So let me go back to the and let me run this. So you have to choose this one, the green arrow here. Click on this, and then it will ask you which project you are doing. Since you're already running a project, we need to find log viewer, and you can see this is the one. This is the project we need to attach it to. So you click on this, and you can see that now you will see that my project debugger is attached. So you go back, you go to debug console, and you see that it's giving me that just my code is enabled. So now let me go back to Postman, and I will run this endpoint again. So I'm going to run send endpoint again, and you can see that this time it will stop at the breakpoint here. You see it's already stopped. And now what I can do, and I can just use a small menu here, and you can see I can step over it, press F10, I can step into it, press F11, I can step out of it, shift F11, and you can see a bunch of options there. So let me step into it and see what we get. So I'm going to say F11, and it's going to go to the actual repository. Let me do it again. Let me step over it, and then let's go back to our. So you can see here I'm back to my my endpoint, and it in the logs it got all the entries back, and you can see that all the data is here, and this is the data it got. So we have a bunch of rows that are coming in, and you can see on the right side of the debugger, you can see you have a bunch of entries here. You have this, and then in this you can see you have HTTP context, what context got back, and it's 200. Okay, and then you have request and response objects, you have the repository here, and then you have the logs, the actual data coming up here. And then you can see if you go to the locals here, you can see that this is where all the objects got returned, and this is where the data got returned. So that's how you set up a debugger in Visual Studio Code. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please subscribe to my channel and always wait for the next one. Thank you.